All right, we're live. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you've all been well. It's certainly been a revealing couple of weeks, as each week reveals more and more about what's really going on in this world. But today, I want to talk a little bit about the Jeffrey Epstein trial and how, as predicted, it has been dismissed by a New York judge. So I'll have this linked in the video description below after the video has completed. Source from the Daily Mail. Sex trafficking case against deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein is officially dismissed by New York judge following 66-year-old's suicide. A New York federal judge officially closed the criminal case against shamed former financier Jeffrey Epstein. It was announced Thursday afternoon, August the 29th. Prosecutors previously requested U.S. District Judge Richard Berman to terminate the sex trafficking case against Epstein after his suicide on August 10th. Dismissing an indictment against a deceased person is considered a formality. However, Berman unconventionally scheduled an open hearing first. On Tuesday, 23 victims came forward to testify about the perpetrated abuse of 66-year-old Jeffrey Epstein, subjected them to, spanning several decades. The termination of Epstein's case will not affect civil claims brought by the victims against Epstein's estate or a federal investigation into his death. So, let me first state that the federal investigation is a joke. And until we have a civilian investigation, only what they wish for the public to know will be known and will be published. As for Mr. Epstein himself, I don't believe he's dead. I believe that he is in Israel right now, because that's where they all go after their faked deaths. All the puppets return to their masters in Israel. And we see Israel going on the offensive more and more. Reports of the suicide drones coming out of Lebanon, coming out of Iraq. But, Israel said that it was a Palestinian drone. Like, the Palestinians have the money and the organization and the tools to create a sophisticated suicide drone. Perhaps with the help of Hezbollah, they might have a chance at that. Meanwhile, Israel has all the money, all the power in the world, as was the goal of World War II, was to establish Israel. And they're quite established. But back to Mr. Epstein. What more proof do we need that our system of justice has been corrupted? And with the system of corrupted justice, all of its arms that serve that system of corrupted justice are also corrupted. This includes law enforcement. This includes our legal system, our lawyers. This includes the wealthy. That I am still looking for a wealthy individual, aside from perhaps Elon Musk, who I still have reservations about, who is bringing the new wave of technology to this world, who is exposing the corruption of the elite and the justice system and its armed mafia police force. Recently, right here in Spokane, we learned that the interstate fair, which comes to Spokane every year, will now proceed with required baggage checks, and there will be officers posted at every entrance and exit. So you can't even bring a picnic basket to the state fair anymore without having it examined. It is no longer the Spokane Interstate Fair, people. It is now the police state fair here in Spokane, Washington. I am sad to report. So the next question becomes, what's going to be done now that the judge has dismissed this case and granted the civil suits which are going to come forward will proceed, and they'll probably be great material for making movies on LMN or documentaries on HBO. It's just a grand moneymaker, a grand Ponzi scheme. And anyone that truly values and displays virtue is obviously disgusted by this. I know that I am. And I know that my heart tells me I should go do something about this. I should take justice into my own hands. And I've said many times it's going to be the vigilante which dispenses true justice upon this corrupt organization, this secret cabal which has its tendrils into everything. So, in thinking about what can be done, it's better to let your mind override your heart. Because what your heart wants to do is take justice into its own hands. And for the intellectual, the enlightened, what that's going to mean is to let them handle it. Let the angry mob who has been entranced for the past, since time began, really, let their hearts take over their minds. Let them run out to the streets and dispense justice with their own hands. That's their job. This is the job of the mob right here, both for the mafia police force and for the civilian people that can't stand anymore and see no other way. This is what they want you to do. And as much as they try to demonize, criminalize, and illegalize our right to bear this, as much as they try, they still have their armed guards surrounding them that also bear these, along with their criminal mafia police force, which bears these in earnest. So again, this is the way of the mob. Let them handle it. For the enlightened, for the mystics, I suggest this method. This method is much more efficient. This method will draw others who resonate with you closer to you. So again, which choice will you make? Will you make this choice, the left hand? Will you make this choice, the right hand? Or will you continue to live comfortably until your plate becomes so bitter that you can no longer eat from it? What will it be? I've made my decision. And as I've said, this is my decision. All that I have accomplished thus far was because of magic. The company that I founded and am still trying to get to the next level was because of this. And because of other forces that are involved that resonate with my vision. So, as tempting as it is to go out there and join Antifa and join Anon and join QAnon on the streets, or like the brave people of Hong Kong are doing now, tearing down infrastructure, tearing down the facial recognition towers. If you want to get caught up in that whirlwind and that mess, then by all means, go that route. But as I said, I highly suggest a different means, a different method, if you will. And as for the monarchy, which has been thrown into a bit of turmoil over this recent Epstein shakeup, oh, woe to you, the monarchy. There are so many unforeseen atrocities that are coming to you via the law of karma that you have committed. And no amount of money, no amount of protection, no amount of flesh or bone or sinew or even etheric ghosts, wraiths, angels, demons, whatever you want to call them, is going to save you. And call me macabre, but I will delight at the scent of their burning flesh, just as they delighted at the scent of so many others. So, with that, Jeffrey Epstein case dismissed. Many people are convinced that he's dead and that the whole issue should just be laid to rest and he should rest in peace. But when you live the kind of life that these people live, there is no peace for you. There is no rest. And there is no death as the puppets return to their masters and become someone else. There was once a very wise and misunderstood man who tried to tell people the same things, who tried to tell people what Israel is really doing, how these people come and go as they please under different personas, different titles, and supported by all the spoils of the earth, all the governments of the earth working together for Israel to continue their method. This wise man was demonized by modern society, seen as a dictator. And I don't even have to say his name because you should already know who he is. And he came very close to liberating those who saw through this illusion. Granted, he did have some issues with his belief systems that I feel were incorrect. But in doing research, it's clear to me what he was trying to accomplish. But he too he got caught up in Israel's game. He was a Jew himself. He became distracted by the wealth, the power that came from his passionate speeches. He became entranced by the woman, the succubus, and he fell victim to her ways. And he just made many mistakes that I think, as a general, maybe 10 years earlier, he would not have made. That's how all this game is played. Now, the judges in New York and the judges nationwide that wear the black robes, are all of them corrupt? Probably not. Do all of them have awareness that the majority of them are corrupt and remain silent? Absolutely. So who's going to dispense true justice, everybody? The civilian people know what justice is. They know, at least for the most part, what should be accepted and not by this modern culture. Have we not dwelled on this world just as long as our oppressors? Have we not been slaves to them for just as long as they have ruled over us? Have we not learned just as much as they have from their perspective? What are we waiting for? It's not going to be diplomatic. It's not going to be peaceful. It's not going to be swift. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be vicious because that is the only way things are going to change. And I have observed in my lifetime, and contrary to what many would believe, but many other lifetimes, where has the mindset of peace gotten us? Where has the feeling of being content and believing in our government as atrocity after atrocity after treasonous act is committed and laid plain before us? So I actually turn to you, the mob, and I ask you, when are you going to act? What is it going to take for your plate to become so bitter that you decide, hey, something needs to be done? And all the mass shootings that are going on, that's not the answer. Killing civilians is not the answer. The civilians are going to help you. They're going to unite with you in chaos as long as you resonate with their ideals. Those that are going to arrest you, entrap you, put you under trial, embarrass you, belittle you. Why are we not turning our weapons, not only physical, but also mental against them. Perhaps because the only method we have is the same arm of the cabal, the justice system, which topic proven in title is corrupt. Yes, everybody, the Justice Department of the United States of America, it's corrupt. Yes, it will support pedophiles. It will do everything it can to protect them. But every now and again, per Israel's creed, there comes the scapegoat, and it's well documented in Kabbalah everywhere. As long as you have the scapegoats, they can take all the heat off of the entire cabal, and most people become entranced in the scapegoat. And before you know it, everybody's forgotten about what's happened. That's why we have presidents that come and go. Just ask Theresa May, who is no longer British Prime Minister amid scandals and allegations. We now have Boris Johnson, who looks like a poorly created Trump clone, to be quite honest. And what is he doing about the pedophilia? And what is he doing to address the claims from the media and the victims that Prince Andrew was a part of Mr. Epstein's disgusting little cult? He's saying absolutely nothing about it. So here I am, once again speaking on YouTube, once again wondering where is the virtue in this world among its people? Where is it? I truly believe it's not going to be until they try and come and round us all up one by one that people might actually start to organize and do something. Just as their hand must be forced, so must ours. Let they that are clean stay clean. Let they that are filthy remain filthy. What foolish words. To let the filthy remain filthy is to let that filth continue. So think about it, everybody. Do you need more proof that our department, our system of justice is corrupt? What are you going to do about it? Be well.